Good afternoon. Welcome back to the Risk Safeguard Advantage podcast. Saying welcome back because we did take a little hiatus. Like every business right now, we've been very busy helping our clients, helping them run their businesses. And frankly, personally speaking, I just needed a little break. I think we've all felt like that right now, and we identify what in our normal lives and our work lives and our family lives and our personal lives, what is a priority and what can take a back seat right now. And that's unfortunately why we took a break from the podcast. It's always been important. It's still important. And that's why we're back today. I've been standing on my soapbox, banging my pot very loudly. And I thought it was important to get back out there and start meeting with you all virtually via camera, via video, and talk to you about something to highlight its importance. I'm sorry it happens to be the first Monday back after spring forward. I don't know about you all, but it's thrown a curveball at me. Feeling a little tired today, but we're going to get through it. We're going to talk about something very, very important and something that has me concerned for the upcoming busy season for a lot of businesses, especially in the construction industry. And it's the combination of mental health challenges, stresses in the world that we're all facing, that we're all feeling, that our workers are feeling, combined with the fallout of the Great Resignation or the reduction in the labor force that all businesses are facing. And last year we looked at challenges facing business, and we knew labor was going to be a big one. Well, now my concern is if you take the mental health aspect of what's going on out there right now and you combine that with the labor shortage, it's creating a very scary environment for the workers who remain on the job. Stress has always been a challenge to worker safety. And when employees are stressed out or distracted in their personal lives, they're more likely to come to your workplace, your work site, and do something stupid or foolish that results in them getting seriously hurt or killed. And so if you look at what we've been viewing the past couple of years under the guise of COVID and what people's lives have become and the challenges that everybody faces on a daily basis, which is different for every individual, whether it's you have young children and their school has been screwed up because of COVID, or your partner and work schedules, and I could go on and on and on, and everyone's had to figure out how to manage it all on their own. But the truth is everybody's stressed out. It's just a question of to what degree. And you could say that stress has been something that we've all faced in our lives pre-COVID, and that's true. But you're certainly feeling a heightened sense of it right now, aren't you? And what I'm researching and reading about is the likelihood of somebody making a bad decision at work that gets themselves or somebody else seriously hurt or killed. And I can tell you right now, the environment we're operating in, it's here. The risk is here. You're starting to see signs of it in the news releases of workplace accidents already before the busy season in the country gets going. I just have a very bad pit in my stomach that unless we are paying attention to it as a group, meaning employers and those they rely upon to help them, that this season ahead is going to be a bad one. And that's coming with the shortages of manufacturing employees, production employees, trucking employees, construction employees. There's a shortage everywhere. We're not even talking about the normal phenomenon of when you put an inexperienced person on a job, they're more likely to get hurt or injured. We're talking about the distraction and stress that the employees who have continued to work are feeling on a daily basis. And I've come up with this visual image in my head of a seesaw, and on the top of the seesaw is mental health and stress, and on the bottom of the seesaw is labor shortage or labor supply. So as your labor force shrinks, those who are still on the seesaw are at the top, and that's where the stress and the mental health challenges come in. So their reward for working hard and staying loyal to their employers, which is what we all want out of our employees, is more stress and more mental health challenges. And some people handle stress better than others, but the truth is, if your workforce is shrinking, then those that are remaining are more likely to leave you because of stress, because of the burden that's being placed on them to either fill in for those who are no longer working for your company, or just to make up for the fact that you have less workers and you're trying to at least maintain the same production. So it's a bad situation for employers because now you're faced with three decisions. Number one, you either shrink your company to keep your employees safe. Nobody wants to do that. Number two, you try and maintain the same production volumes that you were prior to your reduction in workforce. Or three, you hire somebody inexperienced to fill in for those that have left your employment. And everyone's had a workforce reduction for the most part. There's a few exceptions, but there was factors in the world prior to COVID that I think COVID dumped gasoline on, which is that people were ready to retire and that there wasn't a big supply of labor coming up behind them. So then when COVID hit, it was much easier to choose to retire or leave the workforce or change to a less stressful position. So I came back to the podcast saying we're going to keep it going every week like we have been prior to the hiatus. And I wanted to do this in video to tell you the importance of you focusing on the top of that seesaw. What type of stress and mental health challenges are being created in your workforce because of the reduction in labor? And where people say control what you can control and we can't control the reduction in our labor, well, I do agree with that to a sense, but I also disagree, and I'm going to challenge you that if you don't focus on your folks and how they're doing and how they're feeling, they're going to leave. And if they leave, it just compounds that seesaw more. So focus on how your folks are doing. Check in with them. Communicate. Engagement is a major thing for employees right now. How engaged are they in their employment and their employer? These are all the factors that are going to lead to somebody being distracted and making a bad decision at work in terms of getting themselves hurt or their coworkers hurt. And I want to get out in front of you before the busy production season, especially for construction, happens, because that's only going to get worse as well when the infrastructure funds are finally released. Now you're going to have a growth environment with companies that are not staffed to do so. So if you want to talk about this more, I'm happy to engage with you. There are trainings and there's talks and toolbox talks and safety huddles that show your employees that you care, that you're worried about them, that you want them to go home the way they came to work. And most importantly, you don't want them to be as stressed out or mentally challenged with their mental health, because if they're going home and self-medicating because of stress and self-medicating because of their mental health, that leads to a bad situation as well. So that's all for today. Risk Safeguard Advantage podcast. It's good to be back. It's good to see you all. Welcome your feedback. I welcome your commentary, and look forward to talking to you again soon. Take care.